Yeah. Oh, yeah. I, yeah.
Those programs.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Okay,
If it's red, won't be able to hear the microphone. So either keep them talking. It only turns red if nothing happens.
okay.
So keep them
If-
talking. That's great.
Okay.
Otherwise, you-
All right, someone set a timer for every 15 minutes if we don't hear someone talk, okay? Otherwise, what's my option?
Just a mouse.
And if I just click, it will go?
Good.
Oh, maybe down here. Okay,
Yeah, or the
Okay,
arrow
that
button.
works.
You can also use the-
okay, I'll do this.
Okay.
I'll get like, I'll forget where I put the clicker.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and I don't have to do anything with that. Okay,
I'm
cool,
gonna take that with me.
Awesome.
Otherwise,
good.
and
And,
I will, from the. Drop the workbook in the chat.
okay, fantastic. And I will the chat, can I pull the chat up here?
Yeah,
So they don't see this screen, or that doesn't matter.
they don't, no, they can see they see the whole thing.
Okay,
It's just that that has a little bit of a-
okay, that's fine. That works good for me. That's what I usually do on my
yeah.
desk finger.
But also,
Although, is it showing up? So they will only see the workbook. They won't see all this stuff.
correct.
Okay, great.
So Deirdre and Megan, good morning. Hi, thanks for being here. If you have questions or comments, please just come off mute and say them. We love interaction. We love cats. We love kids. Don't worry. So if you can, camera on is fantastic. And if you have questions, please just come off mute and say so, because it is sometimes hard to keep an eye on the chat. Otherwise, I leave you in wonderful hands.
Okay, awesome. Oh, Megan, thank you for putting your camera on. If there's Deirdre, if you feel like putting your camera on, we love to see faces. There's not a lot of us and we don't care what condition you're in. But that'd be great. So what time is it? 9:05. We're almost on time. I think in realtor time, we're actually on time or early. Um, So my name is Susan Kenyon. If you're here for Ignite, you're in the right spot. So that's awesome. And so I am an agent here at KW. Just a little bit about me. We're going to talk about Ignite from the perspective of production because I'm a producing agent and that's my perspective. So I do a lot of administrative stuff because if I can, I'll throw that in here because I am very contract oriented. I'm very compliance oriented, but I'm also not embarrassed to say that I'm very money motivated. So production is the name of the game for me. And my goal here is to encourage you guys to get going in your careers and help motivate you as you're starting your journey from the perspective of production, because without production, we're just here having a great time. It's an expensive hobby. It sure is. But real estate is fun. It's an awesome career. So how long, Allison, have you been licensed or practicing? Yes, please. We're gonna get to know each other first, just for a couple minutes.
Hello. I got my license back in August, September, and then I started at Keller Williams in November. But then I joined a team in January, the Haven Homes and Lifestyle team with Allie Goodwin.
Nice.
And I just quit my full-time job. So this is my first week doing real estate full-time. So
Awesome.
I thought what better
Welcome.
time to sign up for Ignite, and I've heard a lot about it, a lot of great things.
Awesome.
I just couldn't do it in the mornings, so now I can.
Awesome. All right, introduce yourself. Let us know a little bit about you.
I'm Sindel and I've been an agent for probably a week and I'm in the Keller Williams Meredith office. And I'm getting mentored by Shannon Casey.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
You're in great
Yeah.
hands. You're in great hands. Awesome.
So I'm Derek, been a licensed agent for just under 2 months, I believe at this point. Also just quit my full-time job, still have my 2 weeks. So still working it, but I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Nice.
And so I'm out of the Portsmouth office, so I'm very excited.
Awesome. Awesome, Derek. That's great. Deirdre, how about you? Tell us a little bit, just a quick intro about you.
Good morning. I've been a Realtor for a couple months. I apologize, my camera isn't on. I'm puppy sitting this morning, so I'm multitasking.
No worries.
And I'm also going to apologize that I can only be on for an hour. But I did want to catch the beginning, and I'll catch the end of it when it's recorded.
Fantastic, fantastic. Hey, Megan. Can you unmute, Megan? Just give us a little quick intro there.
Hi, sorry, I didn't hear you.
No worries.
My name is Megan Martinez, and I've been a real estate agent for a month so far.
I met you, right?
Yes,
Ah,
briefly.
nice. Nice to see you again.
Thank you. Nice seeing you too.
Great, great. How about you, Wendy?
Sorry, took a moment
No
to get my
worries.
mute. I've been a realtor a little over 2 years. It took me longer to quit my everyday job, but a couple months ago I became a full-time realtor. And yeah, here I am.
Awesome, awesome. Well, welcome everybody. And we have Zoe and Brittany here too. They can jump in and help us when we need it. And thank you, Zoe put the Ignite manual in the chat. So I did you need to say anything, Zoe, or any before we get started? Okay. So we're really here to kick off and like celebrate you guys for deciding to make a career in Keller Williams, and extra celebrate that you decided to join a career in real estate, but that you decided to join Keller Williams. I have been licensed since 2013. I work with my husband, who's been licensed since 2009. He really isn't very practicing right now because he started a roofing company. So pretty much for the Kenyon team, it's Susan Kenyon. However, we love it. I love being in real estate. I think you've made a really excellent choice. I think it's so smart of you to have joined Keller Williams because of things like Ignite, where you can actually get hands-on training in what is your job going to be, right? Because you go through that awful class to get licensed, that horrible test to get licensed, and you make it this far. So congratulations, that's really quite an accomplishment to do all of those things. Now it's time to learn what the actual job is outside of what the test was, right? Because really the job and the class and the test are two very different things. Okay. So for today, and if I forget to keep these slides going, somebody just give me a little warning. Today is the jumpstart where we're going to just talk about, how do we get started? We're going to talk about being a real estate expert, right? Because we are really, we're writing some offers and putting people through transactions for some of the biggest deals of their life. Like this is a lot of money for a lot of people. And it might be the biggest purchase that some of our clients ever make. Or it might be some of the most money some of our sellers ever make, right, on proceeds that they get from the sales of their home. So we really need to become the expert of choice for our clients. And when we do that, when we're able to do that and vocalize that, we're going to show value. We're going to have to learn how to give a value proposition, right? What's our elevator pitch when someone says, hey, you got your license, Allison, tell me what do you like about being in real estate? And it needs to be able to roll, right? But they say, hey, Derek, how's the market looking? The pause and the ums aren't going to get you very far. So we need to become the real estate expert, right? So we're going to talk about that today. And we're going to talk about lead generation all the time. We're going to talk about it today and every single day in Ignite. And then after Ignite, we're always going to talk about lead generation. Because we love to show homes. We love to market homes. We like to get lost in marketing materials and building websites and going to classes and going to masterminds. But if we can't lead generate and find the business, then we're not going to be able to sit at closing tables. So lead generation is going to look like a lot of different things, but it's going to look like, how do we talk to people about real estate? And is that going to be by making phone calls, getting on social media, doing online ads, going to networking events, going to events that our kids or our spouses or ourselves are into? How do we utilize the networks that we have to generate business, that's all wrapped up in lead generation. And then you can do all the lead generating you want, but if you don't do any lead follow-up, you're done. So we can tell people we're in real estate all the time. Like, I can meet you, Derek, at an awesome cocktail party and we're gonna have a great conversation about real estate, but if I'm not following up with you, you're not gonna remember that I'm in real estate. If I have past clients, so I've been doing this for 10 years. If I'm not reminding my past clients that I'm still in real estate, they're gonna forget. And whoever's right here, that's who gets the business. They might love me because I'm really good at what I do. I give them a great experience. But whoever's right here, that's who gets the business, whoever their most top of mind person is. So it's the lead follow-up that's going to count with new leads that we have coming in. And if they're, maybe they're an internet lead. And that's called speed to the lead for those guys, right? People that are new that we don't know yet. Whoever's speed to the lead, whoever gets them first, that means you might have an online lead. Like 60 seconds you have to get there before somebody else like me is going to get there. Whoever gets there first is going to get it. Whoever continues to follow up with value. It's the follow-up that really is going to, sync that relationship and help you get that business. Right. And I am going to keep my eye on the chat, but I'm a squirrel by nature. So I'm going to have to keep me on track there with the chat. And then we're going to get to the transactions. So that's the fun part, right? We do all that lead generation. We meet people. We have consultations with them. Maybe it's a buyer and we take them shopping. Maybe it's a seller and we get them marketed. And then we get under contract and now we have to get to the closing, right? So we have the transaction to deal with. So that's what we're going to talk about during Ignite, really, that whole piece. There's a lot to it. So let's start. We are going to, talk about embracing your job. And what does that look like? We have to engage with people. We have to really get good at the nitty gritty, because a lot of people, when you're talking to them out in the market, they think that real estate is the DIY shows, the home, the house hunting shows, right? So what do they call? Selling Sunset. What are some others? Yeah, I don't watch any of them, but you guys probably do, right? Like, what's the brothers one? Oh, yeah. Right, right. Yeah, it's not like that, but it's okay if they think that. Right, so we have to embrace our job, and we have to really give our people a great experience. And by doing that, that means that we do all the behind the scenes stuff, right? And it's the behind the scenes stuff that is really the 9 to 5, although this is not a 9 to 5 job. However, we're up for the 9 a.m. part to do our job, to do the lead generation, to do the learning how to be good at what we do, learning how to do, market reports, statistic reports on, how fast are homes selling, what's available out there. We're going to contracts class. We have to know our contracts inside and out. So we're going to talk about embracing our job, which is the whole piece. It's not just the going shopping part, which might be fun, or showing houses, or doing marketing material to list properties. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about connect with your market, right? So every day I have my MLS. One of the first things I pull up is my MLS, and they have that hot sheet right on the front page. It will tell you how many new listings came to the market today. What is that looking like? How many price changes? So I used to look at the price change piece to see what price changes there were. And it always was, oh, the prices were going down. Guess what? The prices now for price change are sometimes that the prices are going up. So when people say, hey, Sandal, how's the market going? And if you're looking at that every day, you can say, hey, the weird thing is we're seeing prices are going up. Why is that? So if we're looking at the market and studying our market every day, when people say, hey, Megan, how's the market? You'll be able to answer them with something that is authentic and true, and it will open up a conversation. And when people hear you talk about the market and they understand that you know what you're talking about, now they're getting confidence in you. And once they have confidence in you, then they're going to want to start to tell you more. Right? So we're going to talk about connecting with your market. How many homes are available? How many are under contract? What's our average days on market? How fast is product moving? What's sitting? Why is this property sitting when everything else is moving? You don't even have to know that property. The answer is always price. Right? If the property is sitting when everything else is moving, doesn't matter what the address is, it's always price. And we're going to talk about defining your value. Right? So that's super important because we need to deliver value every time we're talking to someone. My value proposition is my motto, and I have it, my tagline, it's on my door, is relationship, service, results. Because for me, my business starts with a relationship every single time. I'm not a one and done. My business is based on repeat and referral clients because I always put the relationship first. And I need people to understand that. So I like to sit down in front of people more than Zooming when I'm talking to a buyer or a seller, because I can build a relationship with you, Derek, when you can see my face and hear my energy, when you can see my body language, when you can feel my engagement into what we're doing and what we're talking about, when I can sit down and really understand, you know, how can I help your family make the best decision? I hijacked that from Tim Lindsay, I'm not going to lie. But when people ask me what my job is, before I say I help people buy, sell, and invest in real estate, I tell them my job is to help families make the best decision in regards to real estate that makes their family move forward. Like, how can I help you make the best decision about real estate for you and your family? That might mean buying. It might mean, it might mean selling. It might mean not doing anything. I might sit with someone for 2 hours to come up with a determination that right now is not the right time. And that's okay too, because I'm delivering value. I really care about the relationship first. Once we open up relationship, then they start trusting me more. Now I'm building rapport. Once, you know, when we first meet with people and they don't know you, they're kind of like this. They don't want to tell you a lot. You're chipping away at the relationship and the rapport to make them open up. And then they start telling you, because we need to know what people's motivation is in order for us to help them. If their motivation is to get into a school district, if they don't tell me that, I can't help them as much. If their motivation is to get to a warmer climate because their family support system is there, I can help them more when I know that. And then when we're struggling over bedrooms, bathrooms, this or that, I can bring them back to their motivation and I can help them better. So we're going to talk about defining our value. So for me, my value is that I'm relationship oriented and I help people make great decisions around real estate that help their families move forward. But what is it going to be for you? You know, you guys have to really hone in on that. And luckily for Ignite, there's going to be a whole section on value proposition. So you don't have to know it today, but start thinking about it for sure. Okay. So that's what today is. Then we are going to, as you go through Ignite, you're going to talk about lead generation every single day. You're going to talk about lead follow-up, and then we're going to talk about the transaction towards the end. Okay. Because we can't get to the transaction if we don't have any leads. We can't get any leads if we can't know the market, explain the market, and have a value proposition to talk to people. Okay, so Keller Williams, and I'm going to be very transparent. I have taught this session of Ignite when it was the previous version. So this is my first time actually looking at this version. But that's okay. A lot of it is the same, and I've been here long enough to appreciate every piece of it. So today's agenda is a new way of thinking, where we are changing from, especially, I'm so glad you guys are all kind of in the same spot as far as your experience level. So please feel free to come off of mute and just jump in and share anything or ask a question, because I truly am here to help you guys, and anything I can do to help motivate you or answer a question, or move you forward. That's definitely my goal. And I'll make sure you guys all have my contact information because I am here and available if you need anything after this class. Okay. But we do need a new way of thinking, right? Because we need to, Ignite is so that we can get you into an appointment and then get you at a kitchen table so that we can get you to a closing table and have a paycheck in your hand. Because if we spend too much getting ready to get ready, the paycheck gets further and further away. So our goal here for Ignite is for you guys to set 2 appointments during Ignite. Okay, and that means 2 appointments to just talk to somebody about real estate. Even if it's like they don't have a need today, but they want to just sit down with you and talk about the market, that's an appointment. Doesn't have to be, I'm ready to buy or I'm ready to sell. Just get an appointment to sit down and talk to someone. That can be a family member, guys, right? So as we go through, ask a family member or a friend, hey, can we sit down so I can get some experience in talking about the market? Or maybe you have someone that owns a home that your family or friend. Can we sit down and I'd love to do a market analysis or an equity analysis on your home because I'm looking for practice because I really want to learn more about my new career. And guess what? Your family and friends want to help you. So that I would consider that an appointment. If you're getting experience with sitting down and having an on-purpose conversation with somebody about real estate, then that's an appointment. KW culture. Well, I just don't think you're going to get a better culture in any other brokerage than you're going to get at Keller Williams. And on top of that, the leadership here is hands down the best. I was on vacation in Puerto Rico all week last week. And Tim reached out Friday evening and asked if I could come here today because I love teaching Ignite. And my answer is always yes, because they give so much to me. They pour so much into me that I will help them or do anything that they need. You're just not going to get a better leadership than KW Coastal Lakes and Mountains in particular. Our culture is that we help people. We help each other. We share. We follow Gary Keller, God, family, business in that order. The business is last because the other 2 are the priority. And for me, the people at KW are my family. There's very little I wouldn't do for them, for sure. KW value and our market center value. Our calendar is checker block full of training classes. Not every market center has Zoe. I mean, she's a phenomenal resource for you guys. I'm sure you guys, we didn't have a Zoe when I started to launch people. Have you guys been engaging with that program?
I did like a first initial class, then I kind of,
Yep. Megan, have you had a chance to do any of the Zoe stuff? Or I know you have a mentor too, right? Yep, you're on mute, honey.
I've done some Zooms with Zoe. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Yeah, yep. And I have
Awesome.
Karen. So she's
Yeah.
been guiding me through my sale.
Fantastic. And not a lot of agency, a lot of brokerages have all of that, but we have Zoe, we have Tim, we have all the training classes. I mean, just even having Ask the Brokers, which is on Mondays and Fridays, I still jump on those. I rarely miss a contracts class, even after 13 years, and I get value out of it every single time. So the market center values are important. KW resources. So we have Command. We have Melissa Burke for Command, right? So if we have questions on that, I had been using an outside database. And I just switched over about a year ago to Command. I have a ridiculous amount of people in my database with nothing going on with them. And so she's been helping me with that. So even after 13 years, you can still be a hot mess in some areas, and it's okay. We're always growing. So we have those resources. And then we also have all the other stuff on Ignite, on your KW page for KW Connect and all of that kind of stuff. And if you don't know where to find something, just ask. And I'm a fan of listening. I don't always get on the quick start as soon as it's when it's live, but I always go back and look at it. and listen to it to find out what's coming up for trainings for that week. I also look at the morning news. I don't know if you guys look at that, but that is a roadmap for me every day too, to see what am I gonna pick and choose to spend my time on, right? Because we don't want to do every training class, because then we don't have time to actually work. But we pick and choose because they all will come back around again. We're going to talk about your career vision, and we're going to talk about daily success system. We're going to talk about daily success system every day, right? What do we need to do every single day? One of the best parts about Ignite is Keller Williams went out to the top producing agents and said, what do you do every day to be successful? And they built Ignite around that. So why do something else? This is what the most successful people do every day. Then let's just do what they do. We don't need to recreate the wheel. And that part of the KW culture is that those top producing agents across all of Keller Williams are all happy to help other agents. Okay. And then we're going to talk about recapping our ahas. So if something resonates with you guys today, feel free to jot it down when we can share. And if anyone has any questions, please jump in. Does anyone have any questions yet? Not yet? Okay. Anyone can do it, not everyone will you. So that's that's a Gary Keller quote from the Millionaire Real Estate Investor. But it really rings true to KW. Like, everybody can get their real estate license. And this is not an overwhelmingly difficult job, but it is an on-task job. It's work. It's not hard, but it is work. And it can be done because other people are doing it and making really successful livings at it. And determining what's your level of success, like what is your level? How much money do you want to make? Let's drill that back down to how many appointments do you have to set? Because it's all going to come back to the appointments. So when you sit down with either your mentor or Zoe or Tim or whoever it is that's guiding you into what your goals are going to be, we're going to start with, okay, do you want to make $75,000 your first year? Do you want to make $100,000 your first year? Let's break that down into how many closings you need, how many appointments you need, and then you start making your calls, and that's what will jumpstart you. So I need to do this in lead generation to generate this many appointments. And if I get this many appointments, I should sign this many agency agreements. If I have this many agency agreements, I should have this many closings. And there'll be a fallout in there. I don't close every agency agreement that I sign. The goal is to close as many of them as you can with giving people a great experience so that they'll be a repeat client. Okay. And the repeat clients are where the money is, people. Really, the repeat clients. I just closed on Friday while I was in Puerto Rico. It's still closed. And it was the 6th transaction with these people. So when we hone into our value proposition, by that, I want to give them an excellent experience so that they keep coming back. That I need to stay in front of them so that they remember to keep coming back to me. And they will. So that one initial piece of lead generation has so far yielded 6 transactions. And that is how we become agents that are a top producing agent. Okay. We can handle new business for sure, but it's that repeat business that is so much easier. Okay, so the 6 personal perspectives, and we're going to break these down individually as well. Somewhere along your career at Keller Williams, this in its entirety is a whole class, which I would definitely, when it comes around, recommend you taking it. Even if it's not the first time it comes around, it will come around every single year. But the 6 personal perspectives are committing to self-mastery, okay? Committing to the 80-20 principle, which we find everywhere in our life, right? And we're going to talk more, that's a whole section. It's on the Pareto principle of the 80-20. 20% of the people do 80% of the business. Let's be the 20. Moving from E to P. So we're going to move from entrepreneurial to purposeful. being learning based, the foundation of your action plan. Right? So when we set up our goals and our business plan, being learning based is important. And you're already learning based because you're here. You want to learn. But these 6 personal perspectives never change regardless of how much experience you have, that we're always continuously learning. That's why I constantly go to contracts class and I go to mastermind. But I do pick and choose which trainings I want to go to because I only have so much time in a day and in a week. Removing your limiting beliefs, like this is the huge one. And I want you guys to start thinking about limiting beliefs because I'm going to ask you each to give me one when we get to this section. And a limiting belief is, what am I telling myself that is preventing me from moving forward? What am I telling myself that I can't do that's preventing me from setting an appointment, from getting an agency agreement signed, to walking into a networking group that maybe I'm a shy person and walking into a networking group is a little intimidating. What is it that I'm telling myself that's preventing me from doing something that will move my business forward? So be thinking about that, okay, Wendy and Deirdre and Megan? And then being accountable. Transparency, that's my biggest challenge. I have such a hard time being accountable. Probably the hardest part is being in business with your spouse and having to be accountable to your spouse. Not easy. I still struggle with that part. But these are the 6 personal perspectives. When we master all, as we increase our knowledge and our ability to become great at these things, I don't know that do we ever 100% master these? I would say no. Maybe somebody else would disagree with me on that. The better we get at each of these 6, as a person, we will grow. As a family member, we'll be able to give more to our family. And as a business, we'll be able to grow as a business person. Because when you get your real estate license, you are now a business owner. You're in business for yourself. Okay, we're part of KW, but we're independent contractors. So you do become a business owner. So let's get into those. Okay, so committing to self-mastery, you have to know your goals. Like, I'm telling you, we're on production, so we're going to talk about money, right? So I start with, how much money do I need to make this year? How much do I want to make? That's always how I start with my goals. And then we can drill that back. What are my strengths and weaknesses? If you guys have any strengths or weaknesses or goals that you want to shout out, feel free, or put them in the chat, whatever works for you. Or any of you guys here. And know how to work with both your strengths and your weaknesses to seek and master the necessary knowledge, skills, and habits to reach your goals. Right? So we have to know what our strengths and our weaknesses are in order for us to capitalize on our strengths and turn our weaknesses into something that we're trying to get better at, that we're working on getting better at, or maybe that's a piece that we leverage out, right? How do I find what are my weaknesses so that I can leverage that? And so that your weakness today doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be your weakness tomorrow. So that piece may change over time, which is why it's important to commit to self-mastery so that we can change these things around. Your goals today might be different than your goals next year. Might be even different than your goal, in 6 months from now. So this is true, right? Everywhere we look, the committing to the 80-20 principle, 20% of your actions lead to 80% of your results. So what are those 20% going to be? Right? We call those your big rocks. So what do you think in real estate your 20% should be? If you had to name 1 or 2 things. Lead generation. Number 1. Lead generation should be in this 20% of your actions. Yeah.
Make 100 calls a day. I'm like, I have only like 100 people in my sphere. I don't want to call them well, just go to the grocery store and talk to people. And I'm like, I do, but
Yep.
that step of when you're networking, that
Yep.
the hard part. Database, like, once I really, I know there's options out there.
Mm-hmm.
but just starting
Yeah.
out,
Yep, absolutely. Allison said that the lead generation part is the hardest part when you're first starting out. Like, who do you call? How do you get those leads? Okay, 100 people a day is a lot for me. I'm exhausted thinking about talking to 100 people today.
like trying to figure out what to put your effort in so that you're maximizing.
Mm-hmm.
Or not. Like kids really don't like it. But then I'm like, do I have to do it? You know?
Yeah, and door knocking in this area of the country is really hard, right? You know, sometimes when we're on these national trainings, they're like, oh, I door knock, I talk to, 500 people.
Winters don't want to talk to you.
No, we're in New England.
You
We're
know,
not
you
that
know,
friendly. We are not that friendly people. And we don't, we don't have those
Like
neighborhoods.
strangers.
Yes.
I feel like, yeah, like, they love me. But here, we're like, we don't know you. What are your intentions? What
Mm-hmm,
are you trying to sell?
mm-hmm.
So I think what you do, like building that relationship. is more important than you do.
100%.
I feel like you have to know people before they reach out. They want to reach out to you.
Yeah, that is a limiting belief, which we're going to
Okay,
talk about.
okay.
I thank you for saying that. And I say, but I have limiting beliefs. We
Yeah.
all have limiting beliefs. I'm sure Wendy and Megan and Deirdre all have limiting beliefs too. We're going to talk about those. But that is a challenge, and you're not alone. I would say outside, my husband is the weirdo in the room. And if you're watching this later, John, I know you don't mind me saying this. He loves to lead generate.
Yeah.
Not everybody does that. He loves to cold call. He loves to call people, expireds, FISBO. It doesn't matter. Sometimes he just finds a sticky note with a name on it and calls it. And,
Yeah.
but that's not everybody. So how do we get around that with lead generation, right? But thank you for saying that. That is the hardest one. And we'll talk more about that because it's the most important one, right? There's that analogy of, you have a jar, and I'm going to butcher this for people that watch this later, but we'll get the point. Because I don't have all the teacher notes that I usually print out. So it's like you have a bowl, right? A glass bowl, and you have a pile of rocks, and you put all your big rocks in there, and you think you don't have any more room. And then you find some gravel and you realize there's so much more room. You can put all that gravel in there. You can put more in there. There's more space. And then you shake it and you don't think there's any more room. And then you find some fine sand and you have an enormous pile of fine sand that you can keep putting in there. But the big rocks count first. You put the big rocks in first, and our big rocks are always lead generation. Megan, you have a little girl. You have tons of opportunity for lead generation, girl.
Bringing our places.
Yes,
Yeah.
kids. Hire one. Rent a kid. Tons of opportunity for lead generation. Kid groups, library time, wherever you go, like that, could be a source for you. A huge source for you is your kids' activities. And if they're not in any, find some for them to be in, even if they haven't asked to be in an activity yet. Right? I've gotten one of my kids, I'm old, so my kids are older. My son, who's 23 now, when he was in high school, was on a competitive swimming team. I still get business from that damn team. Because I stay in front of them and I remind them that I'm in real estate. And I spent a lot of time with them at the pool, right? So what is it in your life, the lead generation, that you could piggyback on? Derek, what are you involved in?
Actually running for school board right now.
Ah, fantastic. I love that.
Unopposed, so I'm back to making the interested.
What town?
York.
York. Fantastic. That's a huge opportunity to meet people,
Yeah.
right? Parents, other people that participate in the municipality, huge opportunity. Wendy, are you involved in anything that you can piggyback on? activities, family? That's a no. Deirdre, are you still with us?
I am, yeah. I have 3 kids in 3 different schools. So
Oh,
there's a couple people that I could reach out to.
couple.
I know.
What ages are they?
6, 8, and 13.
So tons of opportunity there.
And sorry, I couldn't get I'm like listening to you on my phone and it like
Oh,
won't
that's
pull
fine.
mute. But yeah, I'm in a ton of stuff. I've got a 6-year-old, so school, I'm on ski team. Like I race on ski teams. I even like I have chickens and I sell them at the end of the road and I put a business card in my chicken, like in my the dozen eggs. Like I get myself out there everywhere that
Yep.
I can.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. And so you're in these things, and then what are we doing to piggyback on that? What are you in, Sandal, that you can? Sandal, I have your name. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you hunt?
Right now, waterfowl hunt.
That's pretty cool. That's really cool.
Are actually really fun to hunt. It's less patient.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So you guys all have like fantastic sources here for lead generation. So, and what did you say yours was? I came back, come back to you. Okay. Yeah.
No, I've been trying to think about that too. So I joined a co-working space that's like an all over part of the group.
Yep.
So I did that. And then I'm also part of the gym. I'm kind of up with that.
Yep.
I don't really have a lot of,
I just closed on a gym friend.
yeah.
They're out there.
Well, the thing is, my gym's a cycle gym that's very dark and it's not like very collaborative. It's kind of more about just like you being in your space with your body, which I love because I hate things to see at gyms. So gym's probably not the best place for me
Right,
because it's not really necessarily what I'm doing the most confident.
right.
I'm not like,
Listen, I was going to a kettlebell gym at 6 a.m. Nothing glamorous about the way I looked at 6 a.m. That part doesn't matter. And with all of these groups, it's what you do outside of that to connect with them.
Yeah.
It's that you get in front of them in your group, but then it's how do you connect? Are you Facebook friending all of them?
I don't know.
Then you need to find that out. You need to find that out. And I would be very on purpose, and I am very on purpose on that, because I'm not always great about remembering names. I'm working really hard with you guys. But I find out their names and then I hunt for them on Facebook. And sometimes I might just ask them, Derek, are you on Facebook? I haven't seen you. All right, let's fix it right now. Let me find you. Let you find me. Like, and are they on the gym's Facebook page? Sometimes I found the members by going to the kettlebell page, seeing who's commenting and seeing if I recognize them, and then friend requesting them. Now they're seeing me outside of the gym, but I'm reminding them in a non-invasive way that I'm in real estate, and that's lead generation. Because I'm reminding these people that I am in real estate when I'm not in this time that I'm normally seeing them. And I'm trying to offer value. I'm not throwing up real estate on social media, but I'm offering value. Maybe even just showing them some of my successes by a picture of a closing. People don't want to hear, I just listed a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. Don't do that. They don't, maybe do a little bit of that when you're starting. But once you get rolling, they don't want to hear all that. They want to hear the fun stuff. Like, oh my God, look at this picture of blah, blah, blah while I'm at a showing. You're reminding them you're in real estate without saying, Derek, do you have to buy, sell, or invest? Allison, are you looking to buy, sell, and invest?
Yeah.
You don't want to be the Avon lady, right? Coming down the road where people are like, But we can be reminding people that we're in real estate softly. I'm a big advocate. I don't know where in here this is gonna come up. I'm a big advocate of handwritten cards and notes. I have stacks of them. I send cards for everything, and it reminds people that I'm a human in real estate. I'm a caring person in real estate. I'm a relationship-oriented person in real estate. If you have a dog that dies, I'll send you a card. If you have a family member that dies, I'll send you a card. If you have been in my life for anything, if you're a past client, I will send you a card for your birthday. Right now, I'm doing air fresheners. I wonder if I have any. No, I might. I have personalized air fresheners with my name, with my business on it. That goes in every card. Sometimes, some years it's lottery tickets in a birthday card. Get birthday cards, start sending them to people that you are interacting with for real estate. I said home anniversary cards. If you have bought a house from me, you will get a home anniversary card every year. If you're there for 20 years, you'll get that. I'm reminding people that I'm here. If they are getting married, if they're having a baby, well, if they're a client, I've had their address. I do have an assistant and she can find your address. She might have your address before the end of the day. Well, you know what? If they own a home and you know what town they live in, you can find their address, right? Go to Dover NH assessor, Exeter, New Hampshire assessor, York, Maine assessor office. You can get anyone's address there. Maybe it's on, you might find it on Facebook. Maybe you don't have it yet, but it's on Facebook and you're saying happy birthday on Facebook or whatever it is. But try to get the addresses. When we're calling and talking to people, you should always be getting every piece of information from them. You're calling them, hey, I'd love to stay in touch with you. You're finding out about them, right? I might want a second home someday. I might want this someday. Well, I'd love to stay in touch with you. Would that be okay, Allison, if I stayed in touch with you from time to time? I promise I won't spam you. Wonderful. Can I confirm that? Right? Right. Can I confirm what your address is?
Yeah.
Is this the right email for you? Is this the best line that I'm calling on? The objection is here more than it is out there. And then just treat them like a human and only send them good stuff, right? So 20% of our actions, and really the 20% is lead gen, will yield 80% of your results. Consistency will win every day over having to be perfect. Small things done consistently will win every single time over perfection. Mostly when it's not perfect, we're the ones that know. They don't usually know. They just know that we're showing them care and skill and we're treating them like a human being. Right? So I would work. So I feel like a lot of people, and probably this has been me too, we want our marketing pieces to be beautiful, right? They have to have all the color and all those sparkles. They don't. Sending them out does consistently, touching base with people consistently. That is what will win. That's your 20%, not being perfect, right? So the 20% of your actions yield 80% of your results. It is all about lead gen and lead follow-up. Okay, so when we talk about lead gen, I'm going to do my best to remember to say lead follow-up, because say you pay for a lead and you reach out to them, if you don't continue to follow up, I'm going to follow up and I'm going to get it over you because I'm very competitive that way. So it is all about the follow-up. Okay. Oh, bye, Wendy. She says, sorry, she has to get off the class. Thank you for starting class. You're very welcome. I'll see you out there. Okay, we're gonna, the third principle is moving from the entrepreneurial approach to the purposeful approach. Right, so we have, we're entrepreneurial, we have a lead, we're following it. We might get disappointed. We go from disappointment to resignation to greener pastures to, what does that one say? The cycle continues, right? So we're doing what comes naturally. So I might naturally respond to all the leads that come in, right? And I'm just gonna do what my nature is telling me to do. I might be really good at going to networking events and meeting people. Might not really be good at putting them in my database and following up with them. Okay. When we become purposeful, we're doing what comes unnaturally, but that's about being a business person, right? Entrepreneurial is, I like going to all my kids' functions and talking to people about real estate. And I might actually talk to somebody at the right time when they happen to be looking right now. Most of the time, it's about the longevity of being in touch with them and staying in front of them. And that's the purposeful part. Right? So how are we doing that? When we break that barrier of doing what comes naturally to what comes unnatural, that's when we start seeing real growth and real movement. And that's when we're going to have more appointments. So maybe you're really good at talking to people, but have you asked for the business? That's not easy to do. Right.
But it is kind of like the timing, I feel like. It's kind of like that Sex and the City episode we talk about how you could be like the most perfect girl, everything like that, but if they're not ready for that at that time, they're gonna
Right.
break up. But when they are ready, it's like whatever person in front of them.
I'm just going to close this
Sorry.
door. Yeah,
But it's like, it doesn't even matter like how things are. If the timing's not right for them, you're not gonna be their agents. Stay on top of them so that. when
Yeah.
that time is
right.
But like.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that is definitely the entrepreneurial, like, it's natural for me to want to talk to you about that, but what am I doing to stay on purpose about getting the business from you? Have you asked if anybody else that they know is looking to buy, sell, or rent or invest?
Right.
You know, so that's the purposeful part. How am I moving that forward?
Yeah.
And then, you know, you're gonna get in front of people. You're gonna talk to them about real estate, and it's gonna be nothing, nothing, nothing. If you stay at it, the call will come back to you. When you least expect it, it will come back to you. It's that being purposeful about knowing I have to make the calls to stay in touch with these people. They don't mind hearing from you. Remember, the objection always starts here. We say more to ourselves. Nobody talks to us more than our own selves. Right? And that's not always a good thing. It's true. Yeah. But that purposeful part of, well, I'm going to be on purpose about staying in touch with them. And if that means I have to run a market report, you know, once a quarter to send out to these people, then do that. And that might not come natural to do those things. It might not be natural for you to ask for the appointment. Maybe they're just waiting for you to ask. Right? We assume things. Can I buy you a cup of coffee? I mean, I've met more people at the Thirsty Moose and bought them a beer. And I'm just being a person wanting to learn more about them. And it comes back to you. So what is that on purpose action that you can take to move the needle forward? And when we break that barrier from being our natural self to our unnatural self, then that's really where you're going to see some barriers break. But a lot of that's going to be asking for the business, asking for the appointment, asking for them to sign the agreement, right? There's 1,000 buyers out there and 100 homes to buy. Somebody's going to get those 100, but am I going to take these people shopping if they haven't signed an agreement with me? No. Are they going to just say, hey, Derek, can I sign an agreement with you to work with you? No, they're not going to do that. You have to make an appointment, get them to come in and sit down, explain to them the benefit of working with them. Has anybody ever taken the time to explain buyer agency agreement with you? If that's the piece that needs to be purposeful for you to move your business forward, then learn the buyer agency agreement and get that signed and then take them shopping. So figuring out the purposeful part is important. Hey, Jay Westcott.
Hello,
You can
Susan
come-
Kenyon.
How are you?
I am excellent.
Awesome. You can come and heckle me anytime.
I-
Feel free.
No, I don't
You-
need to. You're better than me at this.
I need someone on Zoom to talk at least every 20 minutes so it doesn't like turn red on something over here, as always said. So
Oh, okay.
feel free to jump in.
So I will just real quick, E2P guys, this is probably the biggest things that agents in the 3 to 5 years with struggle because they come out of the gate. We're facing this as the market center now. Agents that got in the business, I'd say 3 years ago, at the beginning of COVID, they had a really good business and they tend to do the same thing, right? So one, the E goes up, it hits the wall because it's not working anymore, i.e. we're not getting listings like we used to. And then disappointment sets in, which sends you down. You never want to go down. And that's where you got to, Keller Williams is very big on models, right? And that's where systems and models 2 and 3 come into play on the purposeful side. You talk to somebody like Susan Kenyon, an agent that's been through a down market or has grown a business, they're always looking for a better model or a better system. Susan never has to worry about her focus. Never, never, never. I'll guarantee that you drive by her office, she's there. Michael Whitney, for all of you guys in Portsmouth, go there, 7 o'clock in the morning. You will not be the first one in the building. Michael's there. He has focus. He is looking for the newest model or for the best breakthrough, right? They're trying to always find that next thing. And until you get there, build your systems models and trust the process. That's the big thing between E to P, is understanding that we're all entrepreneurial, right? That's why we got in this business. We all want to own a business. It's the difference between owning it and being broke, and owning it and being able to, go to Thirsty Moose and buy beers, right? So understand that you got to do your system and you got to trust it, which trusting in our world is not building a new system. People hear me say that and they're like, oh, I'm going to go recreate the wheel. Nope. Gary has a thing where it's a diamond upside down on the point. That's what agents want to do. Flip it over. We gave you guys the systems, which is the bottom, which is the base. That's stronger. The systems in this business will always be lead gen. And if it's not, then if you guys don't like the lead gen by phone, there are other ways to do it. It just takes longer. I know a very successful agent that only does letters, all letters, very successful. Took about 18 months to start making money, right? Letters are not expensive. I need everyone to understand that. You send out 100 letters, it costs you about $30. Do a year of that, doing it once a month, talking $300-400. They finally made money. So they made $500 or $600. That's not the fastest way. That's why we always talk about lead gen in communication, right? This is what the big push to 201 on your command is. So understand the models and the systems and just get into it. And it's the fastest way. And don't get me wrong. Once you break through, every year you're redoing what you do, right? Susan Kenyon's not doing this year what she was doing in 2000, let's say 10 or 11 when she got in the business. She's not. So understand that this is one of our greatest charts that is very underutilized by seasoned, rookie, and mega agents all alike, right? We got to stop doing the same thing over and over and expecting the same result, because you won't get it. It's a different market.
And you have to be on purpose about it. Like, it's not going to happen if you don't work it. Like, you can build the systems and the models, but if you're not going to work it, it's not going to happen on its own. But it does happen. Like, if you stay at it, your phone will ring. Even when you think it's not going to, it will ring and you'll be like, oh, thank God I did all that work. It does happen. It does happen. Okay. Make being learning based the foundation of your action plan. Like, this is so important, right? So this is knowing for knowing's sake. And you have a trivial you start with the ignorance base. I know what I know, and I'll ignore everything else. Okay, that is such a closed mind, and it's really a sad thing to be, I know what I know, and I'll ignore everything else. To trivial pursuits lead to nowhere. And that's true. That's just knowing for knowing's sake. You have to be learning based. I know what I know, and there is more to know. So what are we doing to be learning based? You're here, so you are learning based. But you never stop being learning based. You want to know for doing sake and move to productivity, outside enlightenment, and enlightenment on inside. So you want to get to higher self-actualization. What are you doing to be learning based? And there's a lot of opportunity to be learning based here, because this piece doesn't change. For example, are you in contracts class? I might know the contracts. I might say I've been in business for 10 years. I know the contracts, and I know what I know, and I don't need to know anything else. But contracts change, the market changes, how we represent our clients changes. And so I need to constantly be learning and adjusting to how the market is changing to be able to best help my clients. What else do I have to do to lead to productivity, for higher self-actualization? Because I am that person. I want more productivity. And I want more enlightening. So becoming learning based is know for doing sake, because it's action oriented. If you're going to stay in the non-learning base to know just for knowing's sake, then that's not going to move your business further down the line and get you more business. One thing I would caution you on here, being here at Keller Williams, is so much education. What do I need to learn today to help me make the next step? There may be opportunities for some classes and trainings that maybe you're not ready for, but you should be doing something to be learning based, to be moving your business forward. And right now that's going to look like knowing the market. How do I learn how to know the market. Right? What are the tools that I have at my fingertips to be able to be learning based, to know the market, to be able to explain that to my client? And once I get those sit downs, do I know, have I learned enough about the contracts to be able to sit down in front of them? Do I understand what my fiduciary responsibilities are? And if you're a deer in the headlights, not knowing your fiduciary responsibilities, start there. I do feel like that brokerage relationship form, have we all seen that? Right? There's seasoned agents that don't follow the fiduciary responsibilities of a signed client. Right? That's a great place to start. Sometimes the simple things are part of what becomes learning based. And it leads us to being what Tim called coming from curiosity. Right? Am I learning based with my clients and my customers? Am I coming from curiosity when I'm doing my lead generation? Oh, I'm not going to be ready to move for 5 years. Really? Sindel, tell me more about that. How come? Well, what's happening in 5 years? Are my kids getting bigger? Are the kids getting older? Or am I going to start having kids? Am I going to have aging parents? Is my job career going to change? Is someone graduating from high school or college? You know what's happening? Being learning based, it's coming from curiosity. How can I learn more about the people that I'm talking to so that lead generation isn't so hard? Because when I come from curiosity and I'm even learning based about my clients, now I can really find out when I'm going to be able to help them and what's the frequency with which I have to stay in touch with them. Okay. So that is the fourth principle. Where's my arrow? Here it is. I am neither especially clever nor especially gifted. I am only very curious. Fantastic quote. Right? Coming from curiosity in everything that we do, especially with our clients, will help you show them how much you care. It will give you information so that the next time you speak with them, you know how to give them value. Maybe it's not valuable for them to have market information right now. Maybe they just want to know, about mortgages or financing, or, what is it that maybe they're not ready to make a move, but they're going to have some housing projects going on that you know about, and maybe you can make some connections for them because you came from curiosity. Now you're showing them value. You're having another way to get in front of them because you came from curiosity. Hey, you said you wanted to have someone help you with spring cleanup. I just met this great guy who does landscaping and has a spring cleanup project going on right now, spring cleaning promotion going on right now. But I came from curiosity and I asked a question. Now I have value to offer someone because I can make a valuable connection as a realtor. And I'm continuing to stay in touch with them. And then I'm going to continue to become curious about them. Then I can call, but I have a reason to call them back. Hey, how did Tyler do on your cleanup project? I'm neither especially clever nor especially gifted. I'm only very curious, right? So this isn't about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being the person that asks the best questions. So this is extremely powerful. And I asked you guys all to think about a limiting belief, right? I find this extremely powerful because here's a fun fact. My husband got his license in 2009. I got my license in 2013. And if you haven't heard of BOLD yet, you will hear of BOLD. And limiting beliefs really comes from the BOLD classroom. And our kids were all little. We have 3 children. They were all little when he started at Keller Williams. And he would take BOLD like every time it came around. And they talked about limiting beliefs. And then we would say, Dad went to BOLD, he's going to be bolding us, because we would start speaking and he'd say, that's a limiting belief. How can we change that around? But it's true. A limiting belief. I don't have enough time for training. I can't be successful in this market. I can't devote 3 hours a day to lead generation. Those are limiting beliefs. Right? Unlimiting belief. When you unlimit your thinking, you unlimit your success. And that is so true. So what is your limiting beliefs? Did you think of one, Megan? I'm looking this way only because your picture's up there on the screen.
Can I think of an unlimiting belief?
Can you think of a limiting belief? So a
Oh,
limiting belief is like telling yourself, right? Remember we talked about how we speak more to ourselves than anybody else. What is it that you're telling yourself that you can't do?
not having enough time.
Yeah. That's a good one because time's precious and you have a little girl,
I have a lot going on.
right? So I don't have enough time for training or I don't have enough time for lead generation is a limiting belief. And how do you flip that around? You flip that around by figuring out where is the time that you can devote and how do you make the most of the time that you have? So if you don't have 3 hours a day for lead generation because you have to be someplace else, how do you turn where you're going to into lead generation?
For me, it's just a bad habit, a bad thinking habit, because I always have time. I can always schedule the time.
Mhm. There you go. You can. It's just telling ourselves that you can, right? And I think that you made a really great point in that it's habit. Especially as we're starting out, it's habit to say, I don't have enough time because I have to go here, I have to go there. But changing your habit of, okay, now I have to be in these places. How am I going to turn that into lead generation time?
I'll be back, Meg.
What are your limiting beliefs, guys? Use the mic so she can hear you just in case.
I like the first example they have in here because that's basically what I was thinking. It says I have to be an expert and know everything before I can begin my business. I feel like there's too many things I don't know yet.
Yep. That's a really good one. That's a really good one. And and like, it's the small things done consistently, not perfectly, that will win every day, right? So going out there when you're talking to people and just letting them know that you're in real estate is a start. And I don't know everything. And guess what? It's okay to say, that's a great question. Let me find out more about that for you. Is this the best number for me to get back to you at? Because I'm going to get that information to you by tomorrow. And if you say I'm going to get that information for you by a specific time, make sure you call them by that time to do that. But we can overtrain all of the time. Mostly people want to just be hearing from us. Most buyers will use whatever agent has been in front of them the most. Most buyers will use love their previous agent, but most of them don't use them again because that person hasn't stayed in touch with them. And I don't have the exact numbers. I wish I had written them down, but the percentage is huge of people that liked their first buyer's agent, but didn't use them the next time they wanted to buy because that person never stayed in touch with them. Now you as a new agent could be staying in touch with them. And if you're the most in front person with them, then they will most likely call you. Right? So keep on training, figuring out what training is going to work the best for you. Contracts class,
That was a hard one to
contracts
do
class.
when I have a job. That's why I couldn't go. So now I'm definitely.
Now you can go,
Except
to
I'm
those
gonna my full day thing on Wednesday.
on Wednesday.
Yeah, but that was my goal, is to get contact class.
If you don't do any other class consistently, make that your one. Because you'll learn how to protect, you'll learn the conversations that you could be having while you're on the phone by going to contracts class. Because you'll be able to talk to when your people that you're talking to are bringing up things on how to buy and how to sell, like you're going to get so much information that you can use from that. And you'll be providing value when they are ready to transact. You know, Sindel, what's yours?
Well, sometimes I get in my head because I think I'm too young, and I feel like making an established relationship with people like around me in my town is like impossible because they won't be able to trust me because they already have relationships with established real estate agents. So
But
I think
do
I just
they?
exactly. So I think I just get in my head that I'm like too young, but you're never too young to be successful or learn.
Right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I appreciate that one. Thank you for your transparency. But you know, you have a unique ability because you have more energy and time than us old people have to be giving to people. And guess what? The majority of seasoned agents do not stay in touch. They don't. They do not stay in touch with their past clients. They don't stay in touch with their sphere. And you know what happens? And I've heard this. I didn't want to bother you, Susan, because I know how busy you are. So I called somebody else. So maybe you have a bigger opportunity than I have because people think I'm too busy to help them and they might not think that about you. Right? Are you eager to help someone? Do you have availability to take someone shopping like morning, noon, and night? I don't. They might know that about me. I don't tell them that because I find a way to make things happen, but they think that. Right? So you might have actually more time to help people. You might be more passionate than some of us old duffers out there that are like, you know, maybe we get a little tired. And some of those agents in your market, they might be that person. So if we change the way we think about things, the things we think about change. And that is part of what turning your limiting beliefs into unlimiting beliefs is a matter of how do we change the way that we're thinking about something. I have all the time in the world to help. I wonder if I had it with me. So I'm a big, especially with limiting beliefs, I find it helpful to write things down. I do keep like sticky notes on my desk of things I want to tell myself. Part of my limiting belief is around lead generation. Because when I got into this business with my husband, I told you, he's a weirdo. He loves to call. He loves to cold call. And the way that we work is that he did all the lead generation. Now he has a roofing business. I have to do all the lead generation and the other stuff. So I wrote this on the first page of my notebook because I still use a notebook. I do, and it helps me. So before I make my calls, I go to the first page. That's why I put it there. And it is, I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in relationship with me. And I read this a few times. People are happy to be in relationship with me. I approach every conversation in the spirit of contribution. And people are happy to be in business with me. They're happy to hear from me. Guess what? When I tell myself this 5 times, it's so much easier to get on the phone. Because now I believe it, as opposed to the limiting belief that I have of John always did the lead generation. They don't want to hear from me. They want to hear from him. And over the last 2 years, they've had to hear from me. So that is specifically why I have this one written down. What is it for you that you need to write down and tell yourself? Because the more our mind does not know the difference between the truth and a lie. It's whatever we keep telling it that's important. So we need to tell it good stuff. So I need to tell myself and my mind that I come from the spirit of contribution, which is true. And people are happy to hear from me, which I hope is true. Which I hope is true. So I write these things down and I encourage you guys to do that too. What is it that you need to write down before you do your lead generation? And if that's lead generation being going to networking groups, what is it that you need to read before you step out of the car to walk into the networking group? To give yourself that pumped up. How do I pump myself up to get into that room of people and make every minute that I count? Because if I'm going to give up an hour and a half to be in a networking group, I better come away with something. Or it was just there for the free coffee. Right? Limiting beliefs, that's super powerful. And we'll talk, I'm sure that they'll be talking about that more during other sessions of Ignite. Hey, we've got a new person, Ken. Feel free to unmute and jump in anytime, Ken. Okay, number 6, I told you this one's hard for me, is being accountable, right? This is life happens and reality shows up. So are you going to be the person that doesn't seek reality, right? You ask no questions. Okay. So being accountable is, you know, who's going to hold you accountable to do what you have to do? And in real estate, where we are self-employed, we're 1099, we have our own business. You can go sit down at your desk and this has happened to me. Has anybody sat down at their desk and at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning and at 2 o'clock you have nothing to show for it? That's been me. Not you. Not Jason. Yeah.
I work for
I've
Nate
done
Dickey. That doesn't happen in this world.
right? Because you're accountable.
Yeah.
You're held
I mean, so
accountable.
we're so accountable, and I tell people all this because a lot of and guys, I didn't know this when I first I've been with Keller Williams forever and a day, it seems like, but I've been in the leadership role going on. This is my second year. I'm in my second year right now. When I came on to the leadership factor, Nate was like, first of all, one, you meet with somebody with your 411. It's going to be with Jen. So I do a 411. And for all the guys that don't know this is all accountability stuff. So I meet with Jen for my 411. I meet with Jen on my 411 is today. I meet with Jen again on Thursday. I met with Jen this morning. So I meet with Jen 3 times a week just on accountability. Right. And then I am accountable for somebody in the market center as far as their 411. We all do one and have to take one from somebody. I am also accountable for the compliance department. So that's what Nathan does. And all of us in leadership have a role like that. Now, when I was an agent, Susan Kenyon's right. You can tend to not be accountable. When the market gets super busy, you get accountable to your people. So the 2 things I will tell you guys, get accountability buddy. You hear Tim say this all the time. Make sure you pick somebody that's got a higher production level than you. Because that way, when you start with your gray section, which is, I'm going to use the word, ready? Your bullshit. The red section, which is the agent that goes, yeah, that doesn't work. I've been there, done that. Nice try. Do this. So get accountability buddy. That's somebody that's maybe 1, maybe 2 higher than you. Okay. The other thing I would do is if any of you guys that are at Keller Williams Coastal Lakes and Mountains, I don't care what level you're at, if you are not within our coaching program that is free to you, that is absolutely crazy to me, right? You're going to hear Bold. Susan Kenyon talked about Bold. Bold's done by a company called MAPS Coaching. There are agents in this company that have MAPS coaches, and they cost $1,200 a month for a 30-minute phone call. 1 30-minute a month, $1,200. And all your top agents pay that. There is a gentleman that sits in that building that you're in Portsmouth who is here, who will be in York on Thursday. He is here once a month. He's got gray hair, really nice hairdo. His name is Timothy Lindsay. He is a MAPS level coach that you pay nothing for, not because his value isn't there. It's because Nathan understands that and pays him the salary for him to coach everybody. If you are not within coaching on an accountability level, you are definitely doing things wrong. We are the only brokerage that offers this. I did not start at Keller Williams, and I will retire at Keller Williams. I will tell you that. So get with Tim for the accountability, because it's huge. Susan Kenyon has John. Trust me. She's got somebody too. And a couple of Marines and a nice daughter that holds her accountable at the gym. I'm here to witness that.
That is true. That is true. And this is important, right? Because if you're in the gray, you are someone that doesn't seek reality. It's ignorance. You don't ask any questions, right? I can do this all on my own. I don't need any help. Fights reality. You're in denial. That's not the way it is. That's not how I see it. That's your perception. Because I go to work every day, even if I don't get anything done. I lead generated for 3 hours. I didn't set an appointment, but I made my calls. Well, then you need to make a change and be accountable for that. Did you set any appointments? That's your goal. You're not going to get to a closing table if you don't learn how to set appointments. I blame people and the projection. If everybody would do their job, it's not my fault, it's yours. Why didn't you change something, right? I'm blaming everybody else for things that I didn't achieve. We don't have that luxury being self-employed. Personal excuses. It's not my job. I was never given a chance. It doesn't work here. I wasn't given a chance. I wasn't given a chance to sit down with that buyer and sign buyer agency. Yes, you were. You didn't ask for the appointment. You didn't have them sit down at a table where you could build rapport, where you could build relationship, where you could build trust, where you could give them your value proposition. Somebody else did and got that buyer agency agreement signed, right? It's our fault if something doesn't happen. You wait and hope. Wait and hope is not a strategy. It's like hoping and praying. That's not a strategy either. If it was meant to be, it would happen. Time will tell. It's out of my hand. If it's meant to be, it will happen. No, make it happen. We're in the business to make things happen. We do not make money unless we learn how to make things happen. Because this is a competitive business, this is a sales job. There will be people out there wanting your business and going after it. So we have to go after it. You want to be the person in red, right? Reality shows up when you seek reality. It's an awareness. What's the situation? Coming from curiosity. What is the situation? Do my buyers really have to buy right now? Do these sellers really have to sell right now? Have I dug into the motivation of that? Have I come from curiosity and asked the right questions? Okay, we acknowledge reality, clarity. This is the way it is. I've got it. I see what's going on. I've asked the right questions. This is what it is. These sellers have to move because somebody got a job and they start in a month. They need to close within 30 days. Right? That's the acknowledgement. That's the clarity. I've asked enough questions and came from curiosity. Own it. The person that's accountable owns it. And that means when you make a mistake, you own it too. Sometimes owning your mistakes will get you more business because we show people that we're human and we own our mistakes, right? Energy and focus. If it is to be, then it's up to me, right? What do I want? This is my responsibility. Versus, if everybody would do their job, it's not my fault, it's yours. No, if it is to be, then it's up to me to make that happen, right? We find solutions. We don't use personal excuses. We find solutions. What are the possibilities? What are my options? How can I get what I want? What can I do? What is the action that I haven't taken to make that happen? If I know this person needs this to happen, then I can't wait for that to happen. If I'm working with buyers, and I'm referencing buyers more because when we start out, we tend to work with buyers before sellers. I have this buyer that needs this. I set them up on a listing card. They're receiving the properties. They'll let me know when that property comes on the market. Well, you're not doing everything. And now it's not my fault that they haven't found a house because nothing's come up on the market. Nope. I am the person that finds solutions. I'm going to also go out there and search for things. I'm going to ask other KW agents in my brokerage, do you have these things coming up? I have a buyer that needs this. We don't wait and hope. We get on with it. We have an action plan. Let's get started. Time's up. Let's go. This is what I will do. Okay. We get after it. The person that's accountable gets after it. Right. They said I could follow them up with them in 6 months because they're going to be ready to sell their home in 6 months. Then I'm calling them in 3 because 6 equals 3. Cut that in half because I'm getting after it. Because Derek might talk to them in 4. And I'm waiting for 6. And he got it because he was there in front of me. He got after it more than me. He deserves it. So we need to be accountable. And accountability equals change. Okay. Not being accountable is victim status. I didn't get that. It wasn't meant to be. I'm not happy with the status quo. I make mistakes all the time. And that's okay because mistakes move us forward, but I get after it. If I need signatures, if something's going to happen and a signature is going to make me get that deal over somebody else, then I'm going to get the signature. I got off a plane on Friday night and I was working Saturday. I was showing houses on Saturday. I was setting things up while I was gone. I made sure people had coverage. I didn't put on Facebook anywhere that I was on vacation because I didn't want my clients to know I was out of town, right? Because I'm accountable, because I get after it every day. So be the person that can be accountable. And it's not always fun to sit in front of someone and say, your spouse can be a great person. If your spouse knows or somebody in your life knows that you need to set 2 appointments during Ignite, ask them to ask you every day, Sindel, did you set an appointment today? Do you want to tell them no? When you know you're going to have to say, I was supposed to do this, and I'm going to have to tell them that I didn't, and I didn't do it. Why didn't you do it? And I don't even have a reason. That's what accountability is. So I definitely think Jay's right. Find an accountability partner that can help you with that. I'm going to try to pick up the pace a little bit because I do want to get us out of here on time. Happiness is not an individual sport. And that's really the beauty of KW and the KW culture is that we are all here together. We help each other. We help lift each other up. I am grateful for Jay. He helps me all the time. I don't pretend that I know everything. I need resources too. And you know, when we succeed with getting our agency, getting appointments, getting agency agreements signed, getting people to a closing table, that's really happy. Those are happy moments. And we can share in that together. And we can get there together by doing these trainings. But that's a great quote by Sean Anker, who has written the Happiness Something book. He's written several books on happiness. One of them was a fun exercise where you actually had, I forget how many times I've been 24 days in a row or something like that, where you had to reach out to somebody every day, one person, different person every day with some type of gratitude. And that act of giving gratitude to somebody else makes you happy. And then when you get on the phone with your people and you're trying to talk to them, you know how much better your lead generation is. I did that. My first person actually was Jay Westcott that I reached out to tell him how grateful I was for how much he helps me. So if you need motivation to get on the phone or motivation to get to a networking group, that's a great option, way to do that. The more we show gratitude, the happier we are. And people like to talk to happy people. Okay, I'm going to buzz through and we'll talk about ahas at the end. So KW culture. Well, we have Red Day coming up on May 11th. So Red Day is a day that every Keller Williams branch shuts down and they do a community project because we are a company that comes from contribution and we give. I don't know, I'm sure that they're going to be, if they haven't announced on KW yet, they will be announcing what our Red Day project is this year. Super fun day. You buy a Red Day t-shirt. You can reuse the ones from previous years next year. And you get together with other KW agents and do a project for the community to give back. To the people that support us, we want to support them. Okay, so that's a great KW culture thing. We have a diversity, equity, and inclusion group. We have KW Cares, where you can submit a grant request for somebody in your brokerage that might be going through an extremely hard time. We have had KW agents from this brokerage that have been recipients of funds from KW Cares. I contribute from every commission check to KW Cares. Other agents do the same, or they might do a one-time or whatever. That money gets put into a fund to help our agents when they need it, when they have something happen in their lives that prevent them from consistently being able to do their income. Could be a death in the family or something tragic or whatever. But it's a great group. It's a great organization, and it's tax deductible. Okay, we have wealth building. Actually, there's a wealth building call every Friday. We have a KW Family Fund, KW Wellness, KW Kids Can. And what is culture? We have a culture of giving, and all of those things we can get some more information for. You'll hear more about as you go through Ignite and on your KW page. So I'm going to buzz through some of these so we can be on top of getting out of here on time. 11:30, we have a half hour. Okay. So our mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives. So we're going to break these down. Our mission. I love these slides because this is really why I stay at Keller Williams. I joined Keller Williams because my husband was already here. Did I pass it? That page is blank for some reason. Here we go. But I'll never leave. I get recruiting calls frequently. I get recruiting emails frequently, and I'm not going anywhere. For me, it is about the mission, to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. I'm in a legacy phase. Like I live my life right now, like I want to leave a legacy. I treat my clients right now how I want them to feel when they're around me about that experience I give them. I want a legacy of being a good person, of being a great agent, of always having their best interest at heart. And I hope to be able to, I'm hoping one of my kids might want my business someday. If not, somebody's getting it. You got me? You might be getting it. They don't want it. Right. This too, like we're so lucky to be at Keller Williams. Our belief system, our Y4C2Ts. I use this in my business when I'm talking to buyers and sellers. And I use it when I'm talking to my co-brokes because I need them to understand when I'm promoting my client Maybe I have a buyer client. I'm promoting this to them as getting to the closing table, right? We are win-win or no deal. We get clients that don't want win-win or no deal. We have to get them there. They want win-win-win-win-win-win, no win on the other side, right? Transactions don't work so great that way. Integrity, do the right thing. Every day I wake up, and this is a true fact, we get into some stressful negotiations. We get clients that want us to maybe walk the line because they don't want anybody else to win, and I'm working with one right now, transparency. I wake up and tell myself every day that I come from integrity and I do the right thing, and my morals will not, there is no commission check worth me diminishing my integrity. When I tell myself that every day, when I'm in front of those decisions that I have to make, they're so easy to make. Because sometimes that commission might be really big, but if it's not the right thing, if my integrity is going to be compromised, I walk away, right? Integrity is super important because our reputation in the marketplace is extremely important. It's extremely important to our customers and clients that we haven't met yet. It's important to the co-brokes that we are working with now or that we will work with in the future. If you get a reputation that is negative, it sticks with you. Be the other person. Okay. Very tough, very tough. So. Right. And, you know, being the awesome KW agents that we are, we give those agents grace because, you know, but integrity is important. Customers always come first. Right? And customers come first, clients, you know, once they're signed. Our fiduciary responsibility to them, enormous. We have to deliver on that every time, right? Commitment in all things. If I say I'm going to work with you and your needs are extremely difficult, if I've committed to you, you've got me. Okay. I give the same level of service for a mobile home that I do for a $2 million home. That's a commitment that I have made, right? Communication, seek first to understand, come from curiosity. It's so easy. People are like behind the written word. People can be really nasty in a written word. Once you get them on the phone, they usually change their tone, right? We give people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they were having a really bad day. Maybe they're having some bad shit happening at home, right? We let that go and we come from curiosity and we seek first to understand in our communication, right? Sometimes email is good. Sometimes text is good. Text is not always good. Sometimes it's a phone call, right? So we have to seek first to understand. We have to be in charge of communication. And we have to communicate. If it's not good news, we have to communicate that back effectively and quickly. Creativity, ideas before results, right? How can I think out of the box? If we're working with buyers right now, we're thinking out of the box a lot, right? What can my buyer offer outside of price that might make Allison want to take my offer over Derek's offer, right? Do I have to leave the house completely full of their crap because I know it's going to be a challenge for them to move? Will that be more important to that seller over price? Maybe. Have I come from curiosity and asked all the right questions? Did I communicate with the co-broke to find out what was most important to that person, right? All of these things come into play every day in our business. Teamwork, together everyone achieves more, right? We're working with a buyer or a seller and we're going under contract. We are now a big team. Okay, we still owe fiduciary to our person, but make no mistake about it, we're a team. Right? We need to work together. Trust starts with honesty, right? And this is the thing, like we owe confidentiality to our clients, but we're always honest and truthful. That doesn't ever slip, right? That doesn't mean we give away confidential information. We answer appropriately, but we do not lie. We are always honest and trustworthy. Nobody is worth breaking those barriers from us. Equity, opportunities for all. Really, that's kind of tied into win-win, right? Opportunities for all. You're so much better off going into a transaction where everybody's winning, where we give a little bit because someday down in that transaction, we might have to ask for something. If we're not win-win, it's going to be really hard to ask for something into that transaction. And you will need to. Success results through people. We're a people business. And if you're not a people person, that's okay. You just have to be a people person when it's important in the transaction, right? Or in the job. We have results through people. You have to be able to work with lenders and title companies and appraisers and co-brokes and the parents of your clients. Not always easy, right? You're going to show a house and the grandparents show and the parents show up. Okay, not always easy. I know I'm getting close, aren't I? Oh. Gotcha. So this is a really great, this is going to be in a lot of things. If you ever printed something and put it up, this is it. A lot of people will put this in a nicer looking marketing piece and actually put this in their packets to show our clients, like, these things are important to us. And coming from integrity and being a great person will actually resonate with a lot of people. We have Red Day coming up. We did speak about that. Red Day stands for Renew, Energize, and Donate. The entire company sets aside the second Thursday of every May to renew, energize, and donate within the communities we serve. So there is fundraising that goes around our Red Day events because we're putting a lot of money into things. We have revamped the play areas in schools. We have done things for communities or houses that help single moms and children, where we have redone their entire outside. I mean, there's heavy equipment that gets involved. There's sometimes backhoe. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a outdoorsy person for equipment, but there's usually some type of heavy equipment that Jay or Brad Kelly will operate. There's been chainsaws. There's people with tools and tool belts. It gets actually pretty involved and pretty expensive. So there's money that gets thrown at that. And KW takes care of its own through KW Cares, which we did talk about, where it's dedicated to serving associates and their qualifying family members who have a hardship. I love KW Cares. I've seen it in action in our own market center, which is why I donate. Because that someday that could be any one of us, right? We have, okay, KW Value and MC Value. So this one is top franchise for veterans in 2021, top female friendly company, top 500 franchises in 2022. I mean, this is all just like kind of boasting on what a great company that this is to work for. And they really do care. And let me buzz through here. So these are some training and coaching opportunities. I don't know if you guys have dipped into any of this stuff, but we have Connect and Connect Live, which is on your KW page, right? There's local and regional training, which you guys receive through the morning news. And are you guys plugged into the KW Coastal Facebook page? Get on it today. It will give you resources, and not only that, our culture is we help each other. If you need anything, you put it on there and you're going to get responses like that. I need a lender that does this wacky thing. I need a resource for whatever. They will help you. There are people there so close to your environment that want to help you. That's just kind of how we are, right? And that's like one of my go-to. I ask stuff on that page all the time. You can search on it too, which is really good. So if you need something that's kind of weird, you can search and see if somebody recently has asked that. There's two major KW events, Family Reunion and Mega Camp. We just had Family Reunion. Mega Camp will be coming up in August, and you will hear more about that when that rolls around. Keller Williams University, you have Ignite, which you guys are into today. There's KWU enablement, which is, we have command training. We have Melissa Burke. Not every brokerage has a tech trainer. Use her. She offers great classes when you're getting going. You don't need to know every applet in command, but you need contacts. You need to be able to put your contacts in there with full information, and she can help you with getting some basic smart plans. Smart plans meaning, how do I put somebody in there and start automating how I follow up with these people? How do I make that automated so I don't have to actually physically do everything every single time? That's the name of it. That is so powerful. And you're going to be, KW Maps has, that's the Maps coaching. they have so many different MAPS coaching classes that come out, and some of them are all just through your computer. They have language of sales, really fantastic if that comes around or when it comes around. But there will be a bold class that comes around again this year. That is all about lead generation. You really need to go to that. It will break barriers for you. It will help you get from entrepreneurial to purposeful. It will break those barriers of how do I lead generate? And it puts in accountability pieces there, which we all need. Right? So that's coaching and training. Really, this brokerage for KW probably does more than any other brokerage. If not, it's definitely the top 10 for how much Nate Dickey pours into this brokerage and puts resources into all of the training that's available here. And then we have technology, right? We have Command. Who's using Command? You using Command? Yeah. Okay. You need to start that this week. Start with I would encourage you to start with 5 contacts a day. Full contact information. And there are training sessions on contacts. Go to YouTube, look up Marty Miller 66-day challenge. He breaks it down into like 5 to 8 minute segments, numbered 1 through 66, where you can learn Command for 5 to 10 minutes in one session, one little piece at a time. And he starts at the beginning with contacts. Putting in full contact information will set you up so further down the line when you're ready to start putting those automated smart plans in, you have something to start with, including Facebook tags. So sometimes I'm still right now cleaning up my database. I'm finding them on Facebook. I'm putting them in there so I can set up a smart plan to them someday. So that is using a database will help you with follow-up. You think you might not have a lot of people to follow up with right now? You will. And you think you're going to remember to do everything? You won't. You can put a contact in there and then you can just say a task. You might have met someone hunting. You can put a task just to follow up with them in a week. And then on your front page, all your tasks get put right in the front and you'll go, oh yeah, I did want to go talk. I did want to reach out to that person. It might just be a reminder to send a handwritten note. They might have said, oh, my birthday is coming up in 2 weeks. It might just be a reminder to send a card. It might be a reminder for you to say, you know what, I need to get more information on that person. But the tasks and the contacts in Command will help build those, the systems and models for to the purposeful. It will help you with your systems and models to be able to stay in touch with anybody. Okay. So KW value equals technology. Command is your integrated end-to-end Keller Cloud platform, and you can do it all from your phone. I make my calls through my KW app, and Melissa Burke can help you do that. And I have my KW right on my front screen. So when I make a call, I just click on that. I search for my person. I can hit call. It will call them. I'll make my call, and then it will ask me if I want to log it. I say yes. I talk to text, and boom, it's already in there. How automated is that? It might be a text. I can write the text through that, and then it will automatically log that text into Command. So the next time I talk to them, it's already logged. I already know what I talked to them about. Okay. Lots of good stuff in Command. Oh, there's the KW app. So we definitely will want to do that. When you have Melissa Burke doing a contacts training, that's probably going to be your next step for Command. She comes to Meredith frequently. You'll want to do that. Okay. KW app. So we have my market center values. Keep going here. Okay. So these are our people, right? We have our operating principal, Nate Dickey, big head honcho. He's amazing. Our team leader, these are all fantastic people. Jeff D'Angelo, whom you've all sat with when you joined, or a team leader in Meredith. Were you sitting with Mark Lesniak maybe when you joined? Fantastic guy. Our MCA, Market Center Administrator, Kaylee Brackett, she's been here for a very long time. She does all the operations stuff. She makes sure we get paid. She's one of my favorite people. And Tim Lindsay, our productivity coach. So, and our market center tech trainer, Melissa Burke. So then there's the other people that all surround them, right? Like Tristan Preston is with Kaylee, Zoe is with Tim. With team leaders, we have Victoria, Virginia. I don't know who came in with who. Virginia, fantastic person, right? She's just a good human, and Mark and Jeff. And then on a regional level, we're so lucky. Nate Dickey, who is our operating principal, is also our regional director. Matt Erdman. If you see a training come along with Matt Erdman about finances, agent finances, take it. He's amazing. He does great classes and they're free. Free classes. He does a great session on money and how do we make money? But guess what? As agents, we're the easiest people to sell to. We buy everything. We buy subscriptions that we don't need. All kinds of stuff. He does trainings on how do we keep more of our money and be a good advocate for our pocketbook. Cassie Sylvester is our operations manager. Brooke Silva is the regional tech trainer. So we do see her in and around our market center. Because we're such an awesome market center, we tend to see these people in our market center. Okay. And the regional productivity coach is Tiffany Hampton. So you may see these names in the near future. Okay. And then we have profit share. You guys familiar with profit share? Okay. So I'm not going to I'm not going to really get into that because I think it's quarterly that Tim does a profit share class, which can be in person or online. Okay. We're going to save those to the last KW resources. So we do have a lot of them. We have Keller Mortgage. I have not used a lot of these. I'll be transparent on that. There is Keller Offers, Keller Covered for insurance, Keller Manage, Keller Mortgage. We may hear more of these as time goes on. I just can't really speak personally to them. Okay. These are different specialty groups that you can become affiliated with. There's an inclusion and belonging. There's the KW commercial people. I don't sell commercial. I sell residential. When I have commercial, I engage commercial. What I love about that is if you have somebody interested in commercial property, you refer them. It's a lifetime referral. Any piece of business they do, 25%, whether it's today, and then they do something again in 2 years, and then another year after that, any future piece of business, they give you a referral on. It's their space. I believe in being an expert in my field, and that's residential for me. So KW Commercial is awesome. KW Land, I believe Sean Cody out of York is going to be joining that specialty group community. KW Luxury, there's a KW Military, New Home, Sports and Entertainment. Ethan Ash from our office here runs a Young Professionals. I think it's 40 and under. Wealth, Relocation, Planning and Design. So out on your KW Connect, if you're interested in any of those specialty groups, you can search those and get more information. Okay. So this is kind of a fun exercise. It's a letter that you write to your future self. I encourage you to do it, and you put today's date. And this is what you want to tell yourself. Remember, what we tell ourselves is super important because nobody talks to us more than we do. Your business is thriving and your life is everything you've dreamed of. Your customers rave about the experience and value you provide and think of you when they have a real estate need. Your family and friends are so proud of your success and are consistently referring business your way. You are helping others live their dreams of owning a home because you are focused on helping them get what they desire. 1 year, this is all possible 1 year from now. You are building the foundation and momentum for your entire career and gaining relationship and experiences and the income you desire. Kind of like that movie, if you build it, they will come. If you build this, this will come. If you're on purpose about building your business, this will happen. Right? You are the top agent in your market center or rookie of the year if you're new. You're poised to hire a part-time assistant to handle your 80% while you take care of the 20% that grows your business. You keep lead generation, you leverage out contract to close, marketing, stuff like that. You are on the path to, you decide. Right? Think about what you want 1 year to look like. And then you work backwards and you build every day on purpose with focus to make that happen. It's your vision and your future. So you guys decide. And where do your commission dollars go, right? Oh, this is building a big life. Did it skip something? Yeah, so this one is building your big life. So this is a lengthier exercise that we're gonna wait and get into on another session, but it does talk about you have that commission goal, right? And then what are you gonna do with it? What do you wanna do? Sometimes knowing where you want your money to go can motivate you, right? If you're somebody that really likes to donate and give, if there's vacations you wanna go on, you have trips that you wanna provide your family with, are there cars or houses you wanna buy? Do you wanna invest in some real estate for rental income? To achieve success, you need motivation and inspiration for doing it. That's your big why. And that's what all of those buckets are for. You will talk more about your big why. And your commission dollars. I told you I was money motivated, so I keep going back to the slide. So where your commission dollars go, the other agent, your market center, business expenses, taxes, and then what you take home. So it's important to know, I get a commission check. If I'm the listing agent, I have to pay the co-broke, right? They get part of that. Your market center gets a cut of that. Right? Some to market center and then 3% to international until you cap. Then you have business expenses. You got to put gas in your car. You got to buy business cards. You have printing material. Maybe you bought leads. You pay for those. You got to pay your taxes, right? You tuck a little bit away from each commission check, put it in a bank account until your quarterly taxes are due. Then you take that home. So you might have a $10,000 check that doesn't really look like 10,000. So you need to know where your commission dollars go so that you can plan accordingly, so that at the end of the year, you haven't spent it all. And now you have to owe the government a large sum of money. I've done that. Don't do that. It's not good. Okay. And this is where this kind of breaks that down, right? So you maybe have a net income goal of $100,000. Company dollar and royalty cap. So between here and international, within a year, they're going to take 30 grand. You might have 50 grand in expenses. That makes your total GCI 180, that you need to make 180. So you have to know what your average commission is in order to calculate all of that. That's about what the market center's commission, average commission is. So this will tell you, you need to have 20 transactions to make your net income goal 100,000, because out of your total, you have to pay your company dollar and your business expenses. So you need a total GCI of 180 to bring home 100. So it's important to know how to break down those numbers when you're calculating your goal. When you can calculate your 20 transactions, we're partway through the year, how many kitchen tables do you need to sit at? That's really what this comes down to, is determining that. So as you're out there being purposeful, how many appointments do I need? Do I have any appointments? I don't have appointments yet. Find people to practice appointments on so that when you get them, you're better at them and have a stronger likelihood of getting an agency agreement signed, right? Your daily success system. Okay, so this is where we kind of just break it down and try to make it as easy as possible for you to know what you have to do every day. That's that part of, I got my license, I sit down, now what do I do? Okay, the number's 10, math doesn't lie. We went out to successful agents to figure out what they do, right? And this is what they're telling us that we need to do. We need 10 conversations a day. We need to add 10 people to our database. So getting good at command, adding full contact information into command with a plan to follow up with. If you don't have a smart plan built, there's a task button. You can one-off a task every time you talk to them. I talked to Derek today. I need to talk to him in 30 days. I put a task, so in 30 days, I remember to talk to him. Or I promised him an equity evaluation on his home in a week. I'm gonna put a task for 3 days or whenever I'm gonna put that in, so that in a week I can deliver that to him. Because the follow-up is important. You get the follow-up by setting your tasks and reminders, because we think we're gonna remember what we don't. So add 10 contacts a day, and I'm gonna add on to that with you add the contact, and then you put right in there when you're gonna reach out to them again. And with what? What am I gonna reach out to them with? Maybe the numbers of, maybe they only really like Dover and Portsmouth. I'm gonna reach out to them in a week and let them know what all the activity is in Dover and Portsmouth. I might set them up on a listing card, but I don't have time to do that today. I'm gonna put a task in there to do that tomorrow. How are you going to get 10 contacts? It could be 10 phone calls until I have 10 interactions with people, two-way conversations about real estate. Is that on social media? It can be. If it's interaction, but back and forth about real estate, it's not like 10 likes. The day before, you might have to figure that out, right? You might have to say, I'm gonna spend this much time. 10 new. 10 new. You have a team talk to Ally about that, right? It could be, there's an exercise in Bold where they have you go through a phone book, or they give you a list of brain joggers, and it's like alphabetical, right? Who do I know that's an accountant? Who do I know that's a dentist? Who do I know that's a CPA? Who do I know that's a lawyer? Who do I know that's a teacher? Who do I know in my kid's school? And you start just writing these people down, right? And it could be, who's in my sphere? Is all of my family in there? Do they all know that I have my license? Do they know what I've done since I've had my license? Do they know I've left my job as a full-time person? Who in your past job? Okay, you have a lot of people in your past job.
Yeah, but they're not.
Not clients,
Yeah.
but you start with people you worked with. And then you don't just talk to them. Who else should I know? Because we come from curiosity. Who else should I know? Right? You're going to have a whole session on lead generation, which will come up with ways for you to find people, but the number is 10. So you may have to spend some mental energy figuring out where am I going to go to find those 10. But the math is there. It's 10. How many dials are you going to have to make, or reach outs, right? If you're on Facebook, how many people are in your Facebook? Is it 500? The blast is not two-way communication. That means you go through everybody. Message them until you get a two-way interaction. Right? Blank messaging is a backup to lead generation. Is it lead generation? Yeah, softly, but it's a backup. You have to have direct communication with people, right? Make that happen. And you have to add them to your database. I connected with them on Facebook. I'm now going to put them in my database. I'm now going to have a method to reach out to them. When am I going to next talk to them? 10 handwritten notes, super powerful, right? And we talked about different ways to give a handwritten note, right? If you talk to someone and have a two-way communication, you should be doing a handwritten note. So when I'm doing my calls, I have a stack of envelopes next to me. I just write their name on it. I keep doing my lead generation. And when I have time in my calendar for the lead follow-up later in the day, that's when I write my notes. That's like where, like, I don't. You don't even have to say, I'd love to keep in touch with you. I don't have your current address. Where could I send information to? I promise I'm not going to spam you. Yeah, that's what I'm getting on. I'm not like. Then you move on to the next person. Every no gets you closer to a yes. Right? And if they're your sphere, start with your sphere and your family. They'll give it to you. They'll give you an appointment. I'm practicing doing an equity analysis. Can I come over? Right? And send out 10 handwritten notes. 10, 5, 1 social media engagement. That's 10 likes. 5, I've written a note, a comment on, and I've written a post every day. The post doesn't have to be about real estate, but it has to be, you sprinkle that in. It could be, It could be what the market's doing. It could be interest rates are new. It could be spring's coming. Here's a spring cleaning checklist. Right? It could be anything. And enrichments. Are we gifting people? Yes, we are gifting people. Right? We're gifting people. We're in that business. Every other business, the business gifts the person. We're the business, we gift the people. Gifts work. People like gifts. You know, they just do. If I'm going on a listing appointment, when I've ever brought a gift to a listing appointment, it could be a little package of cookies. Those were the best one, a really, really cute little package of petitfours. It could be like a little plant. Sellers don't need a lot of stuff because they're going to be moving. Right? Right? But we're sending out gifts. We're giving gifts. Somebody gives you a referral. Put a Starbucks card in a card. Thank you, a latte. $25 gift card. Here you go. If you give me a referral, regardless of the size of the referral. Because if they referred once, they'll keep referring, and they refer more when they get gifts. Okay. So that's what enrichments are. I have a couple that they send me referrals individually. And my referral cards all come in like a big card. They know what it is when they get it in the mail. I think they have a competition to see who's going to get the most cards. Because I know he golfs and fishes, and I can get appropriate gift cards for him. And I know what she likes, and I can get appropriate gifts for her. So I make them important to them. But enrichments work, and they don't have to be expensive. Melissa Lesniak always, regardless of the season, she has a little card with something on it. You know, in the fall, she had one that had a little scent thing, but with a cute fall scent little realtor saying on it. At St. Patrick's Day, she had a lotto card that said something about being lucky. Like, she gets very clever about it. So when she's out in the marketplace, she can just, hey, nice seeing you, Derek. Oh, here you go. You know, here you go. But she's a giver. People love that stuff. It doesn't have to be expensive. Those are what our enrichments are. And we need appointments, agreements, and closings. So we have to set appointments in order to sit at a kitchen table to sign a buyer agency agreement or a listing agreement. Once we have an agreement, we can go shopping or we can market a property, and then we can have the ability to sit on a closing table. So none of the appointments, agreements, and closings happen if you don't do the first stuff first. That's why it's so important, because we want you guys to make money, and we know you can do it. The do not call list. So there is stuff on this on the KW Facebook page as well. We cannot be calling people that are on the do not call list. If you're calling your sphere and people that you're organically meeting, then you're okay to call them. This is if you're going to start like using robocalls and stuff like that, where you can generate just calling people that you don't know. Okay, so if you're going to start doing that, get some more information on the do not call list. Our script, if we call somebody on the do not call list, is, I'm so sorry. I hope you have a great day. I will make sure I don't call you again. Goodbye. Okay, this is one of the few Ignite sessions where we're not going to talk about scripting, but that's one for you that you're going to need. Powerful conversations get results, right? So we need to have powerful conversations when we're lead generating. We're going to uncover motivation. Why? Which is coming from curiosity, right? Why do you want to buy? Why do you want to sell? If you move to Arizona, what will that do for you and your family? What's your timeline? And it will help you identify objections. The more questions you ask, people won't automatically tell you what their objection is. You have to uncover that, right? By having a powerful conversation. Powerful conversations close deals because you're asking for the business. Great. I have Tuesday at 4, Wednesday at 10. When would you like to meet? Pick one of those. When we meet, we're asking them to sign for business. Speak in terms the customer understands, not all these acronyms that we have, right? The language of real estate matters. We need to speak. They don't understand what brokerage relationship means. We need to explain things to them. So knowing your industry terms and communicating in the way that they need to be communicated with in their language is important, right? And the more you know, like the whole training piece, the more confident you will sound. So knowing the contracts and stuff like that, when you speak to them about contracts and you know the contract, they will be like, okay, I'm in good hands. They know what they're talking about, because they have no idea what this stuff is. So we need to always be the learning-based person so that we can build confidence. These are some great questions, right? Purpose and benefits of conversations. Did you find everything you were looking for? Go ahead, look around. Please let me know if I can help, right? So if you were at an open house, maybe hosting an open house, I see you admiring that big screen TV. Are you looking to get one for the big game this weekend? Like, these are good curiosity questions without being like, well, when do you need to buy? When do you need to close? You know, we ask leading questions to get those kinds of information. And you'll get those questions more organically when you sometimes stop thinking about the real estate and just think about the person and knowing I need to know why they're moving, what their time frame is, and what's important to them. Okay. Sphere definition, you're gonna get the most out of your sphere, right? Catch your, oh, I have to move, I'm not gonna skip by this next slide. Your sphere is people you have met in one way, shape, or form. So they're not new people. Your sphere of influence, the SOI, you're gonna hear that a lot. That's where your business is gonna come from, people. They can be so powerful. They're the people that know, like, and trust you already. They're the people that will be most likely to give you a referral. Okay. And when you're talking to them, my favorite slide of the whole day is catch your sphere on the move. So when we're talking to people, this is the wave, right? People move every 7 to 10 years. That first slide, the first move right here, they move on that day. Within the next 7 to 10 years, they're going to move again, most likely, right? So when we're talking to people, we should be able to plot them on this wave. Right? They're either going down the wave, meaning they just bought, they're not going to buy for a while, but we need to stay in touch with them, right? Because I've had people stay a year and then they get a new job. Go figure. So you plot them on the way down, knowing what is happening in their life, what life changes are happening by coming from curiosity and asking them about their life. How's everything going? How are the kids doing in school? How's the job? Oh, the kids are growing up. Oh, you want to have new kids? Do you need more space? They're growing up and moving out. Do you need less space? Are you upsizing? Are you downsizing? Are you getting a second home? Are your parents moving in? Like, you're asking questions about their life so that you know when to plot them. They come all the way down to the bottom and now they start answering those questions like, yeah, my parents are getting older. They live in Arizona. It's really hard for me to take care of them. I'm thinking about having them move back out to New Hampshire with me. Great. They're now telling you they're going to be getting ready to transact and move again. Well, tell me a little bit more about that. Can your house support that? Do they need one level living? Do you have any one level living? Do they need a garage and you don't have a garage? What's their time frame? How are you going to make that happen? How can I help you with that? Let's start looking today. If they were going to move today, let's start opening up what the market's going to look like, right? So we're plotting them. Yeah, they're not going to be doing that for another 12 months. Great. You're going to now, with those little hashtags there on the upswing of that to that second move, you're now increasing the frequency with which you communicate to them with. Because you know they're getting closer to transact. And you need to be the first, you need to be the one in front of them. You can't let Allison go in there and swoop that away from you, Sindel, right? If you've been their person, you stay in touch with them and you're increasing the frequency with which you reach out to them by calls and emails and texts and handwritten notes. Maybe stopping by with a gift. And then when they're ready to move, you'll be that person. That's how you put people, that's how you know when they're going to be ready to transact. So we talk to people constantly about their life situation. So we know where to put them on this wave. This would be a great thing to hang up by where you call, because you should be asking leading questions on every call to know where on that wave they are. Now, if you're talking to people, now you're new, how long have they been in their house? That would be a great place to start. Are they renting? Do they own? Have they just gotten married? Did they have a kid and now they have no space? Are they thinking about having a kid and they need more space? Right? So this is a really powerful. Does anyone have any questions on this? Because this is like super important for you guys to talk to people and know when do I speed up the frequency of conversation. This is how you ask the questions, right? The Ford script. Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. How's your family? Great, we're thinking of having another baby. Wonderful, tell me more about that. When do they do? What's your living situation? Boy, have you started buying stuff for them yet? Kids come with a lot of stuff, right? The parents, the upsizing, the downsizing, ask about their family, their occupation. Why do we ask about their occupation? Yeah, absolutely. And guess what they're gonna ask you? Yeah, how's everything going for you? What are you doing right now, Derek? Right? You're in real estate. They're gonna automatically want to talk about your occupation. Things are great. I love my new job. It's my new career. I love it. I'm just totally have jumped in. I'm doing training all the time. I'm out in the market. Always looking for people to help. Right? Recreation. What are you guys doing for fun this summer? Great time to ask about recreation. Have any vacation plans coming up? Have you ever thought about a vacation home? That's when the vacation home might come up. Right? And dreams. These, when you're saying, I'm calling people I don't know what to ask about, if you're calling your sphere in particular, this is what you open up conversation about. And then you log your conversation in Command so that the next time you talk to them and they say, oh, well, I'm taking the kids to Disney, you remember to ask them, how was Disney? Because you put in a reminder that as soon as they come back, you're asking them about Disney. Okay. This will come up more when you guys are talking about the lead generation module. Okay. Now, do you guys have any questions? Anything resonating with you? Anything that you found valuable? What you got?
Oh, like specific.
Yeah.
Like, no, no. Kind of have heard similar things.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
No, I think one of my
Yeah, which they're probably not communicating to regularly. Don't give us all that much credit.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, the accountability one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, we all have to have a little bit of humility. Absolutely. Cool. Awesome. Well, the next session is going to be Embrace Your Job. I don't know who's teaching that. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. And if you have any questions on that, reach out to Zoe or Tim. But if you need anything, you can always reach out to me. I'm always happy to help. Okay. My number, if you need it, is 603-285-3125. I'm in a transaction with Brandon's team right now. I'm at susankenyon@kw.com. Pretty easy. And I'm easy to find on Facebook. And bye, Brittany. Hi, Jason.
Bye, Susan. Thank you.
You're welcome. See you later.
Bye.
Bye, Susan Kenyon.
Bye. I'll see you Wednesday. I'll see you maybe in the morning at the gym.
Of course, I'll be there. I'll see your daughter.
You'll see my daughter, no doubt. See you later.
Bye.